Yo, samurai! Come, sorry!
Hey my dear pirates, you are on channel Straw Hat's One Piece Theories, and in today's video we're going to talk about the possibility of Zoro coming under the possession of the legendary ace sword of the King of Pirates, Galt D. Roger. The Pirate King's saber is one of the most powerful weapons in the One Piece universe, being one of the 12 supreme grade weapons within that universe. So if Luffy found it, as I said in a previous video, would Luffy have it? Roger's sword, or would Luffy leave it with Zoro? Would Zoro be a good wielder and user of the sword of the Pirate King? Could it be that the fact that it is not a katana like Zoro's swords would make it difficult for Zoro to control it? Well, we're going to analyze all this in today's video. So if you want to be a Pirate King like me and achieve eternal glory, go ahead and press the like button with all the power of your devil fruit. And if you're new here my dear sailor, already subscribe to the channel and don't forget to activate the notifications bell so you don't miss any new video, okay? Then join this crew that will dominate the entire Grand Line and the New World. Now without further ado, let's get to this epic video. And well my dear pirate, in a past video I talked about the possibility of Luffy finding the sword of Roger at the end of One Piece. It could be hidden in Laugh Tale, since it has been missing for a long time, and as I like to remember in that video, when Roger turned himself and he still had his sword and may have lost the hidden screen to someone on the last island of the Grand Line. Roger may have left it with his wife to give it to someone he trusted in the future, someone like Rayleigh or even Shanks, since he always used sabers as his main weapon throughout his life, and we know how Shanks was inspired in Roger even being the person who received his straw hat. However, at the end of that video I mentioned about the possibility of Luffy giving this sword to Zoro, since if Luffy found it there could be a possibility that he would not use it. After all, Luffy is not a swordsman, although he has already tried to use one sword in the Wano arc. So thinking about that detail, the most logical choice Luffy could make would be to hand over Roger's sword to Zoro. However, there are some very important questions in this possible scenario. Would Zoro be able to use Roger's sword? Would Zoro have the necessary power to overwhelm her, since Enma, which is weaker than Roger's sword, already absorbs a large amount of Zoro's haki? Well, to try to answer these questions we have to understand how Zoro can evolve by the end of One Piece. The idea we have about Zoro's character is that in the future he will defeat Mihawk to become the greatest swordsman in the world. However, as Zoro has been collecting and changing swords throughout his journey, it seems that Oda wants to tell us that Zoro will change swords, or maybe gather more swords until the end of One Piece. And even though Zoro only uses 3 swords, after all, his style is Santoryu, still nothing prevents him from having other swords in his collection. This would even be interesting as it would show how Zoro was dedicated to gathering and collecting the most powerful weapons of the world. Many believe that Zoro will be able to obtain the Yora's sword from Mihawk after defeating him, and I also believe in this possibility. It would be more proof that Zoro has become the most powerful. But as we know, that type of sword like Mihawk's does not Zoro's style as well as Roger's ace saber neither. So why would Zoro want those swords? Well, the first answer would be to demonstrate power. Mastering various types of swords and having them in his possession would make Zoro someone with a lot of fame, respect, and prestige. So Zoro wouldn't need to use them in actual combat. But beyond those aspects, even if Zoro doesn't need to use them in combat, I still don't think it would be difficult for Zoro to master them when we get to the end of One Piece, because he was already much more powerful. He will probably have already surpassed Mihawk, and he will still have an even stronger and more resistant haki. I believe Zoro has also already turned his main swords into black-bladed swords by that possible moment. In other words, my dear pirate, Zoro doesn't need Roger's sword just because it is powerful. Just having that sword in Zoro's possession already gives the character a huge amount of benefit. Few would want to face the pirate who surpassed Mihawk and who dominates the sword of the former king of pirate. But for those who think Zoro couldn't use Mihawk's Yora's sword because it's too big, or even Roger's sword of ace because it's a saber, it's always good to remember that Zoro already used Kamazoa's scythe and adapted it for his Santoryu style. Even though it is much larger than his swords, he has already used Usopp himself as a sword and has also used a Navy saber. So Zoro could adapt to these legendary weapons if he wanted to. although I believe he wouldn't do so except as a last resort. But now I want to know your opinion about everything we commented here today. Do you believe in the possibility of Zoro one day carrying the sword of the King of Pirates? Will Zoro become a great collector of swords at the end of his journey? But of course, if you made it this far, it's because you like the content, so it doesn't hurt to subscribe to our channel and become one more member of our fleet, my dear sailor. And of course, do not forget to press the like button, that helps a lot in spreading the video and the channel, so help us to become the largest fleet of pirates here on YouTube, okay? A big hug for everyone, and until the next video.